reaction that people say, slipping in the draft, blah, 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 blah.
They just hate it. They just like Coach Prime and what he has done for Colorado. So, and they try to take shots at us. We played underneath them. But that's just all it is. They just hating on us, trying to take shots at us. So, we just did and just ignore it. We don't care about it. I just talked to them like 2 days ago about it. We don't care. It's just them trying to get us to be a different person than who we are.
All right, you good. My bad. I was hoping that was Shadur.
On what should have been the greatest night of his life, getting picked 2nd overall in the NFL draft, Travis Hunter didn't just make headlines with his talent, he did it with his voice. If you're into stories the NFL doesn't want you to hear, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss what's next. At a moment designed to honor his achievement, Hunter took the mic and flipped the script, calling out the NFL in one of the boldest rookie statements in league history. "This moment ain't even about me," he said quietly as the reporters leaned in. "This moment was supposed to be about my brother." That brother was Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback who wasn't just the heart of Colorado football, but the soul of their movement. A quarterback who transformed the Buffaloes from the worst team in college football to a national story. A leader who threw for over 3,200 yards, 27 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions in a season where he was sacked more than any other player in Division I. But Shedeur's name still hadn't been called. And that's when Travis Hunter decided to speak, not just as a friend, not just as a teammate, but as someone who knew exactly what was going on. "They hating on us," he said. "They hating on Coach Prime. This ain't about football no more." In one breath, Travis accused the NFL of not just snubbing Shedeur, but doing it on purpose, sending a message, punishing Deion Sanders for bringing too much spotlight, too much culture, and too much truth to a sport built on control, tradition, and silence. The room fell silent, because it didn't sound like frustration, it sounded like a warning. Travis Hunter's words didn't just echo through the press room, they shook the foundation of the NFL draft. Everyone in that room knew the numbers, knew the film, knew what Shedeur Sanders had done. 27 touchdowns, 3 picks, a top 5 QBR. He carried Colorado on his back, behind the worst offensive line in college football, and still managed to break records. He led with poise, grit, and football IQ that scouts couldn't stop raving about until it was time to put a name on the board. Then suddenly, crickets. No mock drafts, no first-round buzz, no invites to the green room, just silence. And if you looked close, you could see what that silence really was, a statement. The league, the insiders, the executives, they weren't just sleeping on Shedeur, they were freezing him out. Why? Because Shedeur didn't play their game. He didn't transfer quietly. He didn't bow his head. He didn't avoid the spotlight. He brought the cameras with him, spoke his truth, and doubled down on loyalty to his father, Coach Prime, the most talked about figure in college football. And that rubbed the old guard the wrong way. They didn't just see a talented QB, they saw a problem. A quarterback who was already famous, already wealthy, already in control of his own story. That's not how the system works. And Travis Hunter knew it. His press conference wasn't some emotional outburst, it was a calculated stand. "Y'all see what they doing, right?" he said. "They scared of us. They scared of what we represent." The NFL prides itself on being a brotherhood, but that brotherhood comes with rules, spoken and unspoken. And Shedeur, he broke every single one of them just by being himself. What really made this story explosive wasn't just that Shedeur Sanders got snubbed. It was why. Because this wasn't just about a quarterback. It was about Deion Sanders, the NFL Hall of Famer who didn't just coach football, he disrupted it. Deion brought cameras, culture, belief, and purpose to a program everyone else had given up on. He built a brand out of honesty, out of emotion, out of truth, and that made people uncomfortable. Deion didn't play politics. He played to win, and when the NFL realized his son was following the same path, they pulled back. The league couldn't say it out loud, but the signs were everywhere. Why was Shedeur left out of major draft conversations? Why were analysts suddenly questioning his mechanics and attitude when just months before they were praising his decision-making and toughness? Why did they turn his confidence into arrogance, his swagger into immaturity? Because Shadur didn't fit the mold. He didn't play the PR game. He didn't flatter GMs. He didn't fake humility for interviews. He wore diamond watches, talked about generational wealth, and stood next to a father who said exactly what he felt every single time. And to the NFL, that wasn't leadership. That was danger. Because if Shadur succeeded, it would break the narrative. It would prove that you didn't need to play the game to beat it. And that's what Travis Hunter was fighting for that night. Not just Shedur's future, but the freedom to be yourself in a league that only rewards those who fall in line. Now, with cleats laced tight and motivation running deeper than ever, Travis and Shadur are no longer just two young talents entering the league. They are a storm quietly brewing. Calm on the outside, but carrying a force that could shift the very foundation of the NFL. Travis Hunter, once just a name on a draft board, is now a voice. Loud, emotional, and defiant. His words during that press conference weren't off script or impulsive. They were a calculated moment of honesty, and they echoed far beyond that room. When he paused, choked up, and said, "I was hoping that was Shadur." The silence afterward wasn't awkward. It was electric, because everyone in the room felt it. That pause held more power than any stat line or highlight reel. It was the sound of heartbreak and the birth of resistance. To the outside world, it might have seemed like a brother sticking up for another. But for those who followed this journey, they knew better. This was deeper. This was Travis holding the NFL accountable, drawing a line in the sand and daring them to ignore the impact of Coach Prime's movement. It was a declaration that their silence wouldn't go unchallenged. And Shadur, he didn't need to speak. His silence became his message. No angry tweets, no emotional outbursts. He did what he's always done, worked, trained, led, improved. And now, he's QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. Not by luck, not by politics, by proving every single day that he belongs. And in a room full of veterans, he's already earning their respect. Not because of his last name, but because of his grind. But don't think for a second that Travis has moved on. No, that fire's still burning, and it's more focused than ever. For him, that night wasn't just about a missed opportunity. It was about justice. It was about calling out a system that tried to send a message by keeping a generational talent on the sidelines. But they forgot something important. Travis and Shadur aren't just players, they're leaders, culture shifters, symbols of a new era that refuses to be boxed in by outdated systems and unwritten rules. Together, they turned Colorado into a phenomenon. Together, they'll do the same in the NFL, because they didn't come to blend in, they came to shake things up. And if draft night was a jab from the league, consider this their counterpunch. Every yard gained, every touchdown thrown, every headline earned. It's a response, not in anger, but in purpose. And as they rise, they're bringing a new kind of fan with them. Fans who want authenticity, passion, and players who stand for something bigger than just wins and losses. Fans who are tired of politics and ready for change. And make no mistake, the NFL is watching, because they know when Travis and Shadur move, the world pays attention. So buckle up, because this story is just beginning. If you believe in underdogs rising, in truth speaking louder than politics, and in rewriting the rules, then hit that subscribe button now. Stay locked in. You don't want to miss what happens next.